What's up, guys? It's Garrett here from Thinkering. We are here. We are down in St. Louis covering the AASL conference. We're going to ask librarians what their dream education projects are, my friend. And I can't wait to spend the day learning about, first of all, what is the role of a librarian in 2025? And second of all, what if there was no red tape? So we're here, we're going to walk in, and we'll see you guys soon.
What's up, everybody? It's Garrett here from Thinkering Collective. We are at the AASL Conference 2025. You know, I tried to hashtag the conference 2025, and it was 25. So it was me sitting alone with all my hashtags and content. Hilariously enough, we ran into these folks a little earlier. If you could say your name and where you guys are from.
Kelly Krebs from Mount Vernon, Missouri.
I'm Michaela Barrett from Mount Vernon.
Yeah, they had the joke of where are you guys from? I'm from DC, Jim's from Atlanta, and they're from Missouri. So they didn't come very far. In fact, how far did you guys?
It's about 3.5 hours.
So it is relatively far. You know, Missouri's a huge state. So obviously we're here with librarians. You know, we value you guys so much because we're all about working with educators. And as you guys know and feel probably, there is an isolation at times because typically schools only have one librarian, and some schools, which we found out in our exploration, don't have any. And so my first question is, where do you see the role of a librarian in 2025?
We are a pretty small district. We don't have a lot of resources. You know, we don't have instructional coaches. We are very blessed in that in our buildings, there is a certified librarian in every building. So shout out to our district. But we serve a lot of roles.
We do.
Students and teachers. A lot of times we're the instructional coaches. Tech. We have 2 tech guys for our whole district, 5 different buildings, 6 including our administrative building. They can't be everywhere. Do a lot of troubleshooting.
So it does require, it does require like understanding of relevant tools and things. We ask, you guys are actually our first librarians to ask this question, but if there was absolutely no red tape from your district, if there was the ability to have endless amounts of funding, what would you be pulling off in your library?
Well, this came from our curriculum director in Mount Vernon, Liz Elsey. She and I were talking, I think it was at a conference in the summer, if we could do anything. She was a former English teacher, liked literature. She said, and I am on board. So this is really her idea. Take students, when they have to read these books, take them to the places, to the settings of the book. Gone with the Wind, you go to the Gone with the Wind house. Read the book, have that immersive experience to internalize and take it in and think about it. Some of the other examples, like Salem witch trials, go and read about them in Salem area to see the historical importance, the historical relevance, so that they take ownership in it.
Like a new library, just an actual, my building's pretty old. Our entire building. Can you do an entire new middle school?
We're working on a project out in, I think it's Washington, where they've given us an empty building and we're starting to think about developing a school with the children. So imagine if children were involved in building what their school is.
Technology, new stations, like maker spaces, creation state.
Thank you so much, ladies. We really appreciate it. Oh, sure.
I'm not dead.
She's got more.
My dream would be to library of every building, like the living room, where families gather, they spend their time and they don't have anything else to do. That's where they go, or they need help. They go there and they ask for help, and they just have the quality of making the library the living room so that you can have that in a school. And money is an issue. Of course, educational standards are an issue because we don't have the time for the kids to come hang out in the library. But can you imagine the learning that would happen if they were?
We're here in the convention hall for the AASL conference. We've got everybody checking in for what looks like either a TED Talk or the intro to the event. I'm going to actually see if I can get a couple of librarians here to tell us their dreams. Hi, guys. So sorry to interrupt. We're here covering media for AASL, but we're here from Thinkering Collective. What we do is make your guys' most impossible dreams in your classrooms, in your libraries possible. And are you guys librarians? Yes, and could you introduce yourself and say where you're from?
I'm Cassie Flores. I'm at Francis Howell Central High School.
In Missouri? Wonderful.
Yeah. I'm Sarah Levine. I'm a librarian over at Long Elementary in Missouri.
Wonderful. We're meeting so many folks from Missouri. Now, if there was no red tape, if there was endless budget, right? What big project would you do in your classroom, and have you even thought about it?
I have tables and chairs that are 27 years old, and I would throw them all in a bonfire, and I'd get all new tables and chairs and all new computers that actually work.
If they were plastic, that would probably be a stinky bonfire.
There would.
That's how old they are. My goodness.
Thick, heavy wood ones. Yeah,
How about you?
Oh my gosh, I'd probably revamp like my makerspace and make sure that there's things that are accessible, having things available for kindergarten through 5th grade that everyone really has.
Well, technology is changing so quick that to be relevant is super hard. To find out more, we believe you guys are superheroes. So here's our collector's cards. And if you just scan the QR code, you fill out a form, we get in touch with your district and we make it happen. That's it.
Just Jessica Greider.
Nice to meet you, Jessica. If you could tell us a little bit about this amazing project, your capstone project, we would love to hear about it.
Sure. So I'm a high school librarian in Kansas City, Missouri at Park Hill High School, and I run a romance book club. And we focus on Black girls and identity and joy and justice through romance. So what you see here are pictures of my club. We talk about all kinds of different books. We talk about all kinds of love, including romantic, but also platonic and familial. And what that means is we grow into ourselves and we really look at romance as a coming of age.
Interesting. So we're not talking super spicy stuff. I'm sure you get that question all the time.
I do get that question all the time. We don't talk a lot about super spicy things, but we do keep in mind that teenagers do want to read about sex, and sometimes that happens.
I was just going to say the real world is the real world. And I'm sure that there are amazing conversations that come up. And if you could take this project that you've done even bigger, right? If there was no red tape, if there was ultimate budget, how would you adapt this project to make it even bigger?
I would love to look at this on a national scale and talk about things like consent and how we love ourselves through our own romantic relationships. And
what is the biggest kind of joy it brings you, or what is the most notable outcome that you've seen?
Love that so many girls who look like me can see themselves in books, because I didn't always get to have that when I was a teenager. And now they get to see someone who looks like them, someone who lives like them. And that fills my cup because they're seeing people who are living similar lives to them.
And it makes it so relatable, which makes the learning even more sticky. And I think the work you're doing is amazing because, at Thinkering Collective, what we think about is what will kids need in 20 years to be successful? And it's a lot of these kind of SEL, social, emotional, and self-awareness. And I think that that's lacking in society. I think that kids are now, and I don't want to sound like a grandpa, but they're looking through a perceived world, right? And not the actual reality that they're in. And I think the more that they have the opportunity to read stories that they can relate to, it helps to define who we are. So thank you so much for your time. And we would love to, if you scan the back of that, we make big dream projects happen in schools. Hi, guys. We're going to get you on camera. You guys look like you're doing something. Who are you texting? You're TikToking? I love that, by the way. My name's Garrett. I'm from Thinkering Collective. We're covering this event. We're also a nonprofit that empowers librarians and educators to pull off huge projects in their classrooms, skip all the red tape, get you the funding. There's no seller weight on you. But really what we're doing here is are all of you guys librarians? Yeah. So introduce yourself and where you guys, where your school is.
Melanie, we are in the St. Louis area. I have a K-5 elementary.
Yay.
Yeah, Alicia, and I'm also K.
Andrea, still K-5.
K-5, that's my wheelhouse. In my day job, I own a preschool brand. So I work with really young learners in a personalized learning brand. But what we're asking librarians is, and teacher librarians, we've been corrected a million different times, and I have to continue to remind myself as an educator myself, but we're asking you guys, if there were no red tape, if there was an unlimited budget in your library, in the silo in your school, right? You work with all the classrooms, all the employees. What would you try to pull off?
Yeah. I mean, currently, I'm really trying to build a library of things for our kiddos. I just feel like a lot of what our kids have been doing the last couple years has just been screen-based. Mm-hmm. And luckily, I feel like we're seeing a shift in parenting trends and parents wanting to get kids off of screens. But it's not fun when your mom tells you to get off of a screen. But if I could have you check out this toy from the library that's going to have some learning element, or, just something that you might not have at your house, and it's not revolutionary, but just the novelty of checking stuff out too, I think is really cool. So that's something I'm currently trying.
A collection of things.
So I like that, the collection of things, and then also some screen-free coding things. We have Sphero Indies, but just some other things like that where kids can code, and especially the little learners can code without screens. Also more 3D printers. Yeah. I have one in my library, and it takes me forever to get through a class's prints. So if I had a few more, that would be amazing.
So one in a library of how many classes?
I have 26.
Do you have?
I have 520 kids.
520 kids, one 3D printer. My goodness. How about you?
I'm new to this. It's my first year, so I need things to organize my library. So, with the weeding process and ordering new books for kids that they want to read, making sure the library is up to date is what I'm running into right now.
I immediately think, because we're, as I had mentioned, a collection of entrepreneurs, private industry, universities that are all kind of focused on humanizing education and working with educators just like you on the ground, because that's where we feel change is. There's so much innovation happening with nerds and thought leaders, right? But does that land in the classroom? That's our goal. And so I'm immediately thinking, especially for you, is, in that process of new to this, developing the way, if you will, in what other librarians across the country would need. Right? So that's the stuff we get to do, is pair with you guys, skip all the red tape because we work with the districts. So really all you guys do is put us in touch with district leaders, and then we run fellowships. And in those fellowships, you get PD hours. You also get 10 weeks where you're developing this project idea. And you're working with all kinds of amazing people. Depending on what project you're doing, we're plugging you in with our partners so that you get inspired, so that we're squeezing these ideas out to get really impactful on the ground. And then we run through, that's the first 10 weeks. Then we take what's called the second lap, where we work on just funding your project. And that's equal parts through us and our private donations, but then also through our partners. Let's say you have a really awesome partner in the development of like a maker space, if you will, in your classroom, or, kind of a provocational space with items. And, I'm a big Reggio guy. So thinking about like what that could really look like, outdoor learning labs, things like that. And we're pairing you up with the right people that are either doing that in the classroom or previous fellows that have done a project like that, and really connecting you to give you the resources to where educators come into your library and they're like, how the heck did you get all this done? And it's because the districts don't have any problem with us, because we're coming in and we're saying, you don't need to spend money. We're coming in. The only thing you need to do is $450, which you're going to spend on your educators anyway, for pointless PD, right? This is embedded. This is plugging you guys in with amazing people. And then you don't have to worry about like funding it. We're helping you to get it funded. What's going on, everybody? We're back here on Friday at the AASL conference. And guys, I have to be honest with you, I haven't made a be quiet joke yet. And I'm proud of that. And I think every librarian here is also proud of that. What's interesting is we came here not really understanding the role of a librarian in 2025. And we leave here fully understanding the role of a librarian in 2025. Not only that, we understand how we can help librarians. We talked with so many people and heard so many big project ideas, passed out so many of our collector's trading cards, that's upside down, collector's trading cards, that I think the overall turnout of this event is going to be amazing. We've got people coming out of a session right now, but we're going to be getting more librarian ideas and empowering more librarians to remember why they do what they do in the first place. Let's go check out some more cool stuff.
Connect the motor here. Perfect. Now watch. Every village, every child deserves
We are the Thinkering Collective. Thinkering Collective. It's more than food.
It's a story, a memory, a bridge between us. Together, we're growing something bigger than a garden.
A thinker is a
Let's line up the roof panel here. See? When it sits
curious.
flush, the rest frames itself. Got it. And launch. Learning isn't something we just read about. We build it. We fly it.
The future will need bold problem solvers. That's why Verna helps kids design, test, and dream up solutions for the worlds ahead.